On March 25, 2026, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled that Cox Communications, an ISP that knowingly lets subscribers pirate music for years, is not liable for contributory copyright infringement. Not because Cox behaved well, it didn't. Cox maintained a 13-strike policy the district court called an elaborate sham. Internal emails showed a company culture summarized by one employee's blunt notation: DMCA equals reactivate. Cox blacklisted an entire copyright enforcement company to avoid processing infringement notices. It was, by any reasonable measure, a bad actor. And the Supreme Court still said that's not enough. Cox Communication versus Sony Music Entertainment held that providing a general-purpose service with knowledge that some users will infringe copyright is not contributory infringement, period. Liability requires something more, either active inducement of infringement or providing a service that is designed for infringement and lacks substantial lawful uses. Internet access is neither. The court dismantled the knowledge plus material contribution framework that lower courts had applied for over 50 years and replaced it with a two-track test that general-purpose platforms will almost never fail. This is a case about an ISP, but its most important consequences are for you and YouTube. Why YouTube's 3 strikes policy exists and why the reason just evaporated.
By the way, the 3-strike policy is one of the shittiest policy ever existed, because I have faced a lot of copyright strikes throughout my career, and it is kind of scary that you don't even know what is the transformative content, and how can a company just copyright strike you straight because they just feel like it, and there is like nothing you can just say, because most of the time, like in my sense, I was doing manhwa explanation, but I will try to like don't tell a lot of story about that, and I will encourage people to just go there and watch manhwa, because my whole YouTube channel is based on manhwa explanation and anime explanation most of the time. So I have received a lot of copyright strikes, really most of the time I feel like, yeah, my channel is going to just terminate it because of that. Sometime I will just receive copyright strikes for not even you can just say rules I feel like I have broken. For example, my content was that I was explaining manhwa in Hindi, and you know, the Korean comics are in English or Korean, and those manhwa companies are not even providing services in Hindi translation. So for example, if I try to explain a manhwa in Hindi, I'm trying to actively spread your manhwa in any company manhwa, let's say Solo Leveling or Jujutsu Kaisen manga and things like that. I'm actively trying to promote your manhwa into a community where you are not even trying to release your comic there in that native language. You are actively trying to discourage us while we are actively trying to promote your content in that country. Especially my audience was from India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh and countries like that, which speak almost similar languages, Hindi, Urdu. I was trying to explain that, and one day suddenly I received copyright strikes. Let's say I think most 2 copyright strike, third one will just decide my YouTube career, and it will end for me. So I was fucking scared, and I decided to delete every single video of that company because I don't want another copyright strike from there. But the weird thing was that at that time my video has, let's say, I think 700 to 800 views, and it was not like I was gaining hundreds of thousands of views from there and I was earning money from there. No, I was not even earning money from there. I was just doing it for love of the game. And then they decided to copyright strike me, and I was scared like what the hell is happening. And I just go and search on the YouTube, like for example, if I got the copyright strike, it's mean that other content creator who are explaining the same thing will also receive a copyright strike. And my videos was around like half an hour long, and it was around I think 5 videos. Then I see a YouTube channel which has uploaded a Solo Leveling explanation video, which I also received a Solo Leveling copyright strike. So I was shocked to see that that channel has uploaded I think 2 or 3 videos. Each video is around 8 to 10 hours long, and it has more than 1 million views. And I was shocked like, what? My video has not even 1k views and I got a copyright strike, while this guy which has uploaded the whole manhwa there, he does not even receive copyright strike, which was very weird. Like, what is happening and why they decided to do that? I tried to reach out to YouTube and say like, wait a second, I have not uploaded this content exactly like that, like what is the company offering. I have just uploaded this content by explaining it in my own style in another language, so I'm not even disturbing or taking revenue from this company, in a sense that yeah, they have argument that wait a second, you cannot upload our content because we are not making money because of that, and we are losing revenue. At the same time, I was explaining your content in a language where you're not even trying to serve that content in. I'm pretty sure you're not losing revenue. I'm pretty sure you're, instead of losing revenue, you are gaining revenue, because I am trying to actively reach out to new audiences who is finally knowing what is manhwa is, what is solo leveling is, and they will in the future definitely try to watch it from the official website if they know how to speak English and how to read English. Most of the time those people don't even know, but I'm pretty sure in the future they will try to like actively search for your content, and we are just in a sense promoting your content, but you're actively trying to copyright strike us, which was pretty weird. And the 3 strike policy is pretty much weird. And also, if you get a strike from this kind of big companies, you cannot even argue about them. Like most of the time they will tell you like, yeah, you don't have access to that content, you are not owner of that. Even if you try to make a transformative content, we cannot do anything. And that's how most of my content was copyright struck. But luckily my channel does not delete it, and it has like 132k subscriber. But now I'm like trying to avoid any type of Korean manhwa to explain, because I'm pretty sure I will get a copyright strike from them. I don't know why, but yeah, I will receive it.
YouTube's 3-strike copyright system is not a product of altruism or corporate responsibility. It is a compliance mechanism built to satisfy a single statutory provision, 17 USC Section 512I, which conditions the DMCA safe harbor on having a policy that provides for the termination in appropriate circumstances of subscribers and account holders who are repeat infringers. The logic was straightforward. Without DMCA safe harbor, YouTube faces secondary copyright liability for the content its users upload. To keep the safe harbor, YouTube must terminate repeat infringers. To demonstrate it terminates repeat infringers, YouTube built the 3-strike system: 3 copyright strikes in 90 days, and your channel is permanently deleted.
But at the same time, you can also receive multiple copyright strike, and you can just instantly get banned from YouTube. At the same time, you cannot even contact YouTube again to like say, wait a second, there is like 3-strike policy, but their company has used wrong copyright strike system, in a sense that they did not give me 1 strike for their content. They decided to just give me multiple copyright strike for my, like, let's say 10 videos, but those videos has also a content which is in a YouTube fair use policy. In that sense, I need to receive only 1 copyright strike for all my content, but their company just decided to nuke my channel by giving me copyright strike on every single each video. So that company can instantly just nuke your channel without giving you any chance, and YouTube can just comply because they don't want a lawsuit. But at the same time, that company is also abusing copyright system. Just like how I explain it, that if a company is not trying to approach a certain type of audience, but you are trying to bring that content to that audience from their company, that company can just nuke you down. Even if you try to, like, let's say making their content into another language which they are not trying to go for, but that company can just nuke you because they feel like it, that you are doing something wrong, in a sense that why, because we are actively trying to promote your content. I know it is not that much of a good thing to do, but if you are now trying to approach a certain type of audience, we can just bring your content to them. So in a sense, that is the win-win situation for the company and for us, for a creator, because a creator can receive revenue which is not that great for other kind of languages. I'm pretty sure what I was earning for 1000 views was around 18 to, let's say, 30 cents for 1000 views. And also that video was 1 hour long video, or maybe more than 1 hour long video. So we are not even receiving that amount of money from your content, but in a sense that you are also getting a lot more visibility throughout let's say a country in India which has millions of new generation people who will watch our content, and they will try to then search for your original content, and they will become your subscriber in the future. So we are in a sense trying to promote your content for free, and we are not even receiving that much of a revenue from that, but still that company will decide to just nuke you.
Along with every video you ever uploaded and every subscriber you ever earned.
Yeah.
Before Cox, this was load-bearing architecture. The DMCA safe harbor was the wall between YouTube and potentially ruinous copyright lawsuits. The three-strike policy was a brick that held up that wall. Lose that safe harbor, face the lawsuits. Simple. Cox changed the equation. If general-purpose platforms cannot face contributory copyright liability regardless of their knowledge of user infringement, and YouTube is unquestionably a general-purpose platform, then the underlying threat that made three strikes necessary has diminished significantly. The DMCA safe harbor is still valuable to YouTube because YouTube hosts content and faces potential direct infringement claims, but the contributory liability sword that hung over the platform's head, the Supreme Court just sheathed it. Cox's own attorney conceded at oral argument that after this ruling, the safe harbor provision wouldn't do anything at all for conduit ISPs. For hosting platforms like YouTube, the safe harbor still matters, but it matters less. And the three-strike policy that was built to protect it, YouTube now has room to rethink it from the ground up.
Yeah, I hope so they try to change it, because a copyright system has been broken from the day one whenever this system comes out, because it is not a very good tool to determine what kind of content is strike worthy, because most of the time, a lot of time, let's say, people can just misuse and abuse this copyright system, and YouTube will still agree with those people and try to nuke your channel if that company which is striking you is like a huge company, and YouTube will say like, yeah, we cannot reject their strike on you even if your content is in line with the YouTube policies.
The human cost of three strikes. To understand why this matters, you have to understand what the current system does to real people. A YouTube creator who receives 3 copyright strikes in the 90-day window loses everything. Not just the disputed video, the entire channel.
And also, he will get permanently banned from YouTube. Like, he will lose his livelihood. If YouTube was job to him, he will lose that. And it will be a huge thing for a lot of creator. I'm pretty sure some of the creator whose channel was terminated have done a lot of worse thing after that, because it is mentally draining. And I have myself faced a lot of scenario where there was like 2 strike on my channel, and I was like fucked for the next 90 days, and I was thinking like what I'm gonna do. I was stressing over it. Like, there was a lot of other intention of me doing something bad to myself because of that, and YouTube was not even listening. Like, I was saying that, wait a second, this content is in English. I tried to translate the whole thing to English and also made it more transformative, but at the same time that company just decided to nuke my channel. They don't even give me a chance for 1 strike, 2 strike. Most of the time I have seen my friends getting nuked from the YouTube. They have never received a copyright strike, but suddenly they receive, let's say, 20 strike on a YouTube video. For example, they have tried to explain a manhwa which has hundreds of chapters, but they decided to explain, let's say, 10 chapter, and then one day that company come out from nowhere and they decided to say like, wait a second, why did you upload our content? While even if we are not publishing this content in that country and that country native language, we don't give you permission to do so, and they will just nuke your channel. And for those companies, they have abused a copyright system for a longer time. They are not gonna strike you once, they are going to strike each and single video again and again. Let's say you have uploaded 10 videos, they will strike 10 videos and just terminate your channel. You have no chance to even appeal that.
Every video, every subscriber, every comment, every community post, years of work, deleted. And YouTube bans the creator from starting a new channel. For full-time creators whose livelihoods depend on their channels, a 3rd strike is a professional death sentence.
Yeah, because you have just lose years worth of your hard work, it's feel like your channel just died and you have nothing to gain that again. It is the end of your professional work journey. Now you can't even create another channel to continue that thing again. It is the end of it, and you cannot even try to argue with YouTube about this, and you cannot even do anything about it.
The U.S. Copyright Office's own 2020 Section 512 study found the notice and takedown system unbalanced, tilted towards right holders at the expense of users with legitimate fair use claims.
Yeah, in a sense that what I was doing is, for example, if there is a content, I will try to make it more transformative. I will just like how reaction content works. We were doing more like that, and we are trying to let's say not even do a translation of a manhwa. In a sense, you have seen, if you have watched some videos about anime or manhwa explanation recaps, we are not even trying to actively just translate the whole thing. In my case, I am not trying to do that. I'm trying to change the narrative little bit, and I try to add a lot of my own things. Let's say if I was trying to explain a manhwa which is related to finance, like I almost do, my main channel is like that. So I will also just give you lecture about business in that explanation video, but that company can just come out and you know what, they can just even copyright strike a single frame of your video. They have that amount of power to do so. So they are not gonna look for if you are gonna do transformative content or not. They will just bulk copyright strike you, and YouTube have to agree on that. They cannot reject their copyright strike on you.
Content is removed before any fair use analysis. Counter notifications take 10 to 14 business days, during which the content stays down.
And also, if you are lucky and you just receive a one strike on your like multiple videos, but most of the time those companies are ready to just nuke your channel. They don't give a fuck about you.
And the creator lives under the threat that a wrong guess about fair use or a bad faith claim by a rights holder could end their career. The chilling effect is real and pervasive. Creators self-censor. They avoid incorporating copyrighted material even when their use is clearly transformative. Commentary, criticism, education, parody. Video essayists skip visual references. Music commentators avoid playing the songs they're analyzing.
Yeah, because YouTube has become a censorship shithole. You can't use a content to criticize someone because maybe you can just receive a copyright strike from them. You cannot even try to, let's say, do a manga review on that, or anime review, or a manhwa review, or movie review, because you are fucking scared to even add, let's say, 5 or 6 seconds of content of that movie because you are gonna receive copyright claim, or just blockage of your video, so your video cannot even be visible to a lot of viewers from different countries, or maybe you can just receive a copyright strike. So it is kind of broken system. And also about the monetization thing, you cannot use curse word a lot because YouTube can just demonetize your video because of that. And it is also weird, and you have seen throughout a lot of YouTubers that they are trying to actively try to use other words. They cannot use fuck, so they will use freak and things like that to avoid getting their video demonetized. And also about the demonetization, you are not getting only demonetized and you will, like, let's say, not receive that amount of money. Most of the time you will not even receive any money from that video, but your video will also get restricted, and that video will be not visible to a lot of subscribers, in the sense that that video will not reach to wider audience. That video will remain, in a sense, in a shadow ban type area.
Creators who cover news, law, or pop culture walk on eggshells around copyrighted clips, even when their use falls squarely within fair use.
Yeah.
The system punishes risk-taking, and in a creative economy, risk-taking is the whole point. Meanwhile, Content ID, YouTube's automated fingerprinting system, handles 98 to 99% of copyright management on the platform, entirely outside the DMCA strike framework. Content ID scans every upload against over 50 million reference files and lets rights holders choose to monetize, track, or block. About 90% choose to monetize. Content ID claims don't generate copyright strikes, they direct revenue. The system that actually manages copyright on YouTube is not the three-strike system.
And also those kind of copyright claims will just take the whole revenue from you. and they are not even trying to share revenue with you. For example, if you make a 1 hour long documentary video and you use, let's say, 5 to 6 seconds of a movie clip, that movie company will decide to copyright claim you and just take the whole 1 hour long video revenue from you, and you cannot even argue with that. Yeah, you can just remove the copyright claim, but still you cannot use that content anymore. And it is kind of the worst thing YouTube has done, to give that amount of power to those companies.
The three-strike system is a compliance artifact layered on top of it, what YouTube could actually do now. Cox doesn't force YouTube to change anything, but it removes the legal risk that prevented the change. Here's what a reformed copyright strike system could look like. This is not a fantasy, but a reasonable policy that would survive legal scrutiny under the new standard. Raise the strike threshold. 3 strikes in 90 days is an extraordinarily unforgiving system for a platform where creators publish multiple videos per week and copyright law is genuinely ambiguous. A 5-strike or even 7-strike system would give creators meaningful breathing room while still allowing YouTube to terminate persistent, deliberate infringers. The statute requires only that the policy provide for termination in appropriate circumstances. It does not prescribe a number. Courts have accepted policies far more lenient than YouTube's current one.
YouTube will also try to say like, yeah, you cannot also upload content on your YouTube channel for a certain time if you receive a copyright strike. I think it is a week time that you cannot even upload a content on your channel, or maybe community guideline. I don't remember about that, but it is also a restrictive thing to do. So yeah, more than 5 strike warning will be a better thing to do. And also they need to restrict those companies. For example, if they want to strike your channel and you have uploaded, let's say, multiple content, and they want to try to just nuke your channel, for example, let's say Nintendo or other Japanese company, because they are the fucking hungry type of companies, they are actually trying to copyright strike your channel. Those kind of companies are very well known for their use of copyright abuse, because they will just nuke your channel. So I want YouTube to implement a certain type of rule which say that, for example, if certain company try to nuke your channel, you have multiple videos on your YouTube channel, their strikes will count as 1 strike from that company, not like multiple strike, and they can just delete your channel, which they need to improve that.
In Capitol Records v. Vimeo, the court found Vimeo's policy reasonable even though it treated multiple notices arriving within a 3-day window as one incident. Reduce the current strike window. The current 90-day window means a creator who receives 2 strikes in January starts each new video in February knowing a single additional claim, even a frivolous one, will destroy their channel.
Yeah, and also it is quite a huge window for you to wait, that you hope so that you don't receive another copyright strike because of that. And also YouTube will just shadow ban your channel throughout that strike period. I have seen personally a lot of channels which receive copyright strike and their channel just started to die off throughout that 3-month period. And maybe if they try to remove your copyright strike, or that copyright strike expire after 90-day window, your channel will still be in shambles, and you are actually trying to recover that channel to like how it was before 3 months ago without copyright strikes.
Reducing the window to 30 days would reduce the pressure without eliminating accountability. It would also align better with the reality that copyright disputes are slow.
Yeah.
Require fair use screening before a strike issues. This is the most consequential reform, and the hardest to implement. Under the current system, a DMCA takedown request generates a strike immediately. Fair use is only considered after the fact if the creator files a counter notification. This is bad.
About the copyright strike thing, which I have told you, that, for example, if your channel get nukes, you cannot even try to appeal for that. You can't even access your YouTube studio. So you need to go throughout some email shittiest thing, and YouTube will say like, wait a second, how about you go to your YouTube studio and try to appeal from there? Like, bitch, my YouTube channel has been terminated. How can I just file a claim about that? I have seen a lot of people try to say that same thing, that, for example, if their channel just get nuked, they could not even appeal that. They need to go to some tech support and do stuff like that, and you need to reach out to YouTube, try to explain what is going on there, and YouTube will still reject your claim, because I don't know why the fuck YouTube do that. Because, for example, if you say that, wait a second, I am ready to fight that company in court, let's say, because my content was in fair use, but YouTube will still try to stop you. That YouTube is a middleman. YouTube need to just say like, wait a second, okay, so you want to try to take this thing to court, how about we will just take your email which you try to like send us to review everything, we will try to send that to that company and you need to just fight with each other, and we are not gonna involve in that. I will be happier to do so. YouTube is not even trying to do that.
Backwards, the Ninth Circuit held in Lens v. Universal Music that rights holders must consider fair use before sending a takedown notice, but there's no enforcement mechanism, and rights holders routinely ignore this obligation. YouTube could build one. Before a formal strike issues, YouTube could flag the claim for a fair use review, automated or human, and withhold the strike if the use appears transformative. This would require investment, but YouTube already employs thousands of content moderators and has sophisticated content analysis tools. You could separate the Content ID and the strike system entirely. Content ID claims already don't generate strikes, but the two systems interact in ways that create confusion and fear. A bright line separation with clear communication to creators that automated Content ID matches can never lead to a channel termination would reduce the chilling effect significantly. You could adopt neutral third-party dispute resolution. PEX has already partnered with...
This is also a good thing because YouTube is not gonna look for your appeal. They will just transfer your appeal to just AI robot, and that will be reject your appeal for that. So YouTube need to hire somebody which can see what is going on that content and why that company try to strike you, and they can just decide if it is in the fair use or not. And if it is not, YouTube will still give you that, wait a second, if it is not in a fair use, do you still wants to approach and take it to the legal battle? You will have still a chance to do. I am happy to do that, but still YouTube will try to actively take the side of that company, not the creator.
With WIPO's Arbitration and Mediation Center to provide exactly this for copyright disputes, YouTube could integrate a similar system, replacing the current framework where the accusing rights holder effectively decides the outcome. A neutral arbiter, considering both the claims and the fair use defense before a strike is confirmed, would be a structural improvement over the status quo. None of these reforms would violate Section 512I. The statute requires a policy that terminates repeat infringers in appropriate circumstances, not necessarily a 3-strike policy or a 90-day window or immediate termination upon a third complaint. Courts have consistently held that reasonable implementation is a flexible standard. And after Cox, even if a court found YouTube's reformed policy didn't satisfy Section 512I, the contributory liability exposure that made the safe harbor essential has been dramatically reduced. What this could mean for content creation? If YouTube moved in this direction, the effects would ripple across the entire creator economy. YouTube is the platform that sets the standard. Its copyright policies influence how every other platform structures its own systems: TikTok, Instagram, Twitch. A more forgiving strike system would unlock categories of content that are currently too risky to produce at scale.
And also, they can just implement another thing in the copyright system is that, for example, if a company want to copyright strike you down, that company need to specify what kind of content they are talking about, which kind of section of the video they are talking about, and you can just trim it out. Just like how copyright claim works, but nah, YouTube is going to nuke your channel for that. Even in, like, let's say 1 hour long video you have uploaded, if there is a section, let's say 1 minute long, and they need to strike it down, they will just need to strike your whole video down, which is illogical and nonsensical thing to do.
Long-form video essays that analyze copyrighted films, music, and art, the kind of content that is almost always fair use but frequently triggers claims, would become safer to create. Music commentary and reaction content, which currently operates in a gray zone where a single aggressive rights holder can threaten a creator's entire career, would have more room to breathe.
Yeah, because for example, if something YouTube is considered to be transformative content and they are also paying you for that content, how can a company can just say like, wait a second, this content is in a fair use content, but we don't like it and we're gonna strike you down, and that's how it's worked most of the time.
News commentary that incorporates copyrighted footage, a practice protected by fair use but routinely flagged by automated systems, would carry less existential risk. The broader effect would be a shift in creative incentives.
I just remember about the news thing that in India there was a lot of content creator who was making like news related content. They were criticizing news channel for their fake news and things like that. But in the end, those news channel decided to just copyright strike all of the YouTubers, and they were trying to blackmail them, and they were saying like, okay, so if you want us to remove the copyright strike from your channel, you have to pay like, let's say, $50,000 a year for to us, that you can just continuously use our clips, and if you don't want to, we can just nuke your channel. And there was a huge thing, but YouTube does not even try to take the side of creators. They were still trying to take the side of news channel, and that how extortion works, that YouTube was trying to even allow that thing to happen.
The current system rewards creators who avoid copyrighted material entirely, who make content in a vacuum, disconnected from the broader culture they're commenting on. A reformed system would reward creators who engage with copyrighted works in transformative ways, exactly the kind of creative output that copyright's fair use doctrine is designed to protect. The law already says this content is legal. The platform's enforcement system just hasn't caught up.
Yeah, and YouTube is also allowing that content and even monetizing that content for you, but just random company can come here to just say, no, I don't like it that you're trying to use our clips, and here is the strike.
There is a reasonable counter-argument. Rights holders worry that relaxed enforcement will increase piracy and erode the revenue streams that fund creative work in the first place. This concern's not frivolous. The Content ID monetization system generates billions of dollars for rights holders annually.
And also that monetization tool is pretty much very good. I am not gonna say it is perfect, but still it is a good thing, and I am pretty sure if somebody try to upload pirated content, let's say movies, series and things like that, YouTube can just instantly detect that. So there is not even an argument about that kind of content. So I don't know what is YouTube even thinking about that.
And it depends on a credible enforcement backdrop. But the counter-argument has limits. Content ID handles the vast majority of copyright management on YouTube already. The three-strike system is a blunt instrument layered on top of a sophisticated one, and blunting it further doesn't mean abandoning copyright enforcement. It means calibrating enforcement to distinguish between piracy and fair use, between bad actors and good faith actors.
Yeah, and it is quite actually good thing if they try to implement this system, because most of the people are even now actively trying to avoid content which they think maybe can cause them problem in the future, so they will never use that. And because of that, they are actively trying to, let's say, balance their content by not adding very much good material into that, because they fear in the future they can be copyright struck because of that. There was, I think, a YouTuber who decided to remake a scene from a certain movie in like VFX, and also in, I think, Blender or whatever the case was. Producer of that movie decided to copyright strike that channel because they think that, yeah, it is a resemble our content, even if it is not our content and you have decided to make your content from the scratch. It kind of similar to us, like in a lighting sense and in the whole scene is, but we will never allow you that, and they will just strike that. And it is a quite a huge thing that YouTube is giving them that amount of power, so they can even struck down those channels which are actively trying to make their own 3D renders of some movie scenes, because they cannot use the original movie scenes.
Between bad actors and good faith actors. The time is now. As of mid-April 2026, no major platform has publicly announced any policy changes in response to Cox. The decision is 2 weeks old, but the legal landscape has shifted beneath the existing architecture, and the platforms know it. 2 days after.
And also, I think YouTube will not try to change that, because they think that if something is working, why try to change that, and YouTube will never do that.
Cox, X's lawyers told a Nashville federal court that the copyright theories in a pending music publisher's lawsuit fail as a matter of law under the new standard. Meta invoked Cox in its defense against Epidemic Sound. The court issued a GVR order vacating a $46.7 million verdict against Grande Communications, another ISP, and the record label's $2.6 billion suit against Verizon faces the same headwinds. The content industry's litigation strategy against intermediaries, built on the knowledge plus material contribution theory the court just eliminated, is in disarray. The RIAA's Mitch Glazier responded by calling on policymakers to look closely at the impact of this ruling. That's the signal. The fight moves to Congress. If platforms visibly relax enforcement before rights holders can secure legislative backup, the window for reform may be narrow. Right now, the window is open. YouTube has the legal room, the technical infrastructure, and the competitive incentive
I'm pretty sure YouTube is not gonna do anything because they are the laziest people on earth.
to build a copyright system that distinguishes between pirates and creators. Cox v. Sony didn't require it, but for the first time in the platform's history, nothing in the law prevents it either. That's where things stand. I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and I want to hear what you think.
Yeah,
Drop your thoughts in the
your
comments.
content.
Should YouTube raise the strike count? Should they require fair use review before a strike lands? Should they scrap the whole system and start over? Tell me.
They need to change their copyright system. They need to try to stop those companies to abuse copyright system, and they need to make content easier for content creators. Because most of the content creators are in fear to even try to make something from some movie scene because they feel like they will receive copyright strike. The video was very good and I hope so they implement this system, but still YouTube is YouTube and it is very hard to for them to even implement this because they are very lazy for that. And that's it for today video. I'm pretty sure I added something which maybe or maybe not related to copyright system, but I feel like I did say and I have experienced copyright abuse a lot, so I can say from experience that yeah, YouTube need to change a lot of things. And that's it for today video. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.